Here goes tournament time and I got my bow shine. I gotta go, 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 go.
Get exposed.
Get the boat, man, it's time to go.
What is going on, YouTube family? Noah from Kicking Their Bass TV, and we're here with some jigs. You guys have been wanting this. You've been leaving comments. You left comments on the first video, so jigs it is, guys. We got tons of jigs. We got hair jigs, swim jigs, football jigs, archead jigs, all the jigs that you guys can think of. Right here we have 4 boxes full. So let's go ahead and start off with the swim jigs. I'm going to pretty much go through where I throw these jigs, how I work them, what setup I use them on, etc. Jumping into the swim jigs, these are by Swarm and Hornet Lures, all the swim jigs that I own. Here's a few colors that I'll throw up on the screen. Just a little green pumpkin one right there. There's a little bluegill pattern, and all these play a role. And as you can tell, this one has a weed guard and this one doesn't. So you're throwing it more in grass and stuff, and you don't want to get too much hung on the end. You would throw this one with the weed guard, and this one I don't have a weed guard. Simple different things like that can make a big difference. Right here's a little lighter color one. See, the water's a little stained and you want to throw one that's a little lighter. That one's white, chartreuse, a little bit of gray in it. It's also got a little white weed guard. Here's another bluegill looking one. Pretty neat. I enjoyed throwing swim jigs, like you guys know, chatterbaits, love chatterbaits, so swim jigs I really like as well. There's a black and blue one, really good in that dirty water. Really nice swim jig. That's all the swim jigs right there. And where would I fish those? Mostly grass, mostly up shallow. I'm not going to go out deep in 30 to 40 foot through a swim jig. If I was going out there, I would throw a regular just arc style head or a football jig, depending on what kind of structure I'm fishing. It all varies. Hair jigs, I don't have too many of these. I actually make these. I don't have them on the market yet, but if you guys are wanting them, message me. Kicking Their Bass Baits hair jigs. I know you guys are thinking, man, that's a funky looking bait. What kind of thing is that? If you haven't thrown a hair jig, I would really recommend it. People overlook this stuff, and they're saying, oh, that's mostly for striper. Like, we've thrown them over brush piles and everything's ripping them, catching good fish. And my friends asking me, what are you catching the fish on? I'm like, I'm catching them on a hair jig. And they're like, oh, you're lying to me. Throwing a hair jig over a brush pile? That's crazy. Heck, man, go try it. I wouldn't sit here and lie to you. That's a great bait right there. If you haven't ever thrown a hair jig, you can probably search some videos up on it. Jumping into the other box, I got some regular Arky style heads. These are all Chattahoochee jigs. As you guys know, that's my sponsor. Really great jigs. Comes in all sizes and colors. We have plenty of jigs by them. That's a little football head. These are actually a little custom color that I got made for me a while back ago, before I was sponsored by Chattahoochee. There's another Chattahoochee in brown, and this one has the living rubber on it. And why do I like the living rubber? Say the fish can't see the bait too much. I really like the living rubber. If you haven't seen living rubber in water, what it pretty much does is, say you have a regular jig right here, and it's just this regular stringy skirt, and you'll have it and it just kind of lay there. The living rubber, it's more thick, and as you can tell, it's kind of floating out. When it goes in the water, it's going to be floating. It's going to be floating up, so it's more live-like. It gives a more of a bulky profile. You'll catch bigger fish. And I mean, just the simplest things. It may sound stupid, but the simplest things can make a difference, guys. Got some red ones right here, and you guys are thinking a red jig. I can tell you one thing. 2 years ago, I want to say it was 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, we were killing them on Lanier on this color right here. I mean, absolutely just killing them. That's another Chattahoochee jig. It's really great. Here we go. We got one with a rattle on it right here. Looks like a jig with a jetpack on it. Little rattle. Why would I use rattles? Fish can be really finicky sometimes, so you might not want to use rattles. And I know you're probably saying I'm crazy, but this, like I said, the simplest things can set the fish off. Say you're in really dirty water and you want a little bit of vibration. Yes, the fish can feel that. You want a little bit of vibration. Use the rattles, and it can make a big difference, guys. It's crazy. I mean, you could just not be catching fish, throw a rattle on it, and just be catching them. It's amazing. Here's some more living rubber jigs right here. Much more stringy. Really nice style. Right here, got some football head jigs, trailer green pumpkin ones. We use those a lot when we're at Douglas. That's for the most reason. That's why I use these. When we're at Douglas, we're at Kentucky Lake for Nationals. We're using those, and right here, here's a football head. And you're probably asking, why did I cut the weed guard off? And for the reason of that is we were on Kentucky Lake. There wasn't too much structure. We were just fishing humps, and we were fishing those big mega schools. And if we saw some fish staged on the bottom, we would throw this. There wasn't too much structure that we were fishing, so we didn't have to worry about getting it stuck in a brush pile or anything like that. So it's completely safe to cut off, and your hookup ratio would be much better. So just a little tip like that. But if you're fishing brush, I would recommend a weed guard. But what you can do on most of these jigs is you can stretch out the weed guard so it's not too thick for the hook. This one's a little thin anyways, but as you can tell, I kind of stretch it out so to go over the hook easier. That's another little quick tip if you want your hookup ratio to be better. So let's jump on to this box right here. Some sharp hooks on the Chattahoochee jigs. These are football style heads, and I use these, like I said, at Douglas Lake and at Kentucky Lake. We're fishing really out deep, and we're fishing rock. For the most part at Douglas Lake, we were fishing rock, and we would throw out there, we would drag our jigs, and we would fill that rock. And that's when this football head came into play really well. Football head's really good for rock, if you guys didn't know, and it doesn't get stuck as much. As you guys know, I advertise my wobble head a lot. I catch a lot of fish on it. Been fishing it the past couple of tournaments, just been whacking them on it, and I can rarely get that thing stuck. If I get it stuck, I can hop it off right away. I usually don't have to go around and pull it, say it's stuck on a rock or a tree. It usually comes off for the most part. But here's some football heads. This one's just regular green pumpkin, has a little bit of brighter green in it. As you can tell, we trimmed the skirt a little bit so it'll stick up, give it a little bigger profile. That's a really heavy jig right there. Like I said, for Douglas and Kentucky Lake, when we're fishing those deep humps, I'm fishing for those big mega schools and everything. There's a little lighter green color right there. Football head. Really great looking jig. Here's some of those custom ones I was talking about. Right here. That we got a while back ago. That was for Kentucky Lake. Just a little custom color we liked, and we did pretty good, pretty well on. Just a little bit of brown, a little bit of green, a little bit of everything really. That worked really well. Here's another lighter green. It's kind of got like a watermelon candy-ish type look to it. It's got the little purple flakes. And as you can tell on that one, we cut the weed guard off as well. I'm guessing we're using that one at Kentucky Lake. I believe we cut a few off at Douglas as well. Here's a darker green. And these all play a different role, guys. Just depending on what the fish are wanting, what the fish are feeding on. One day they may be feeding better on this dark green color. One day they may be feeding on this one. It's more of the green pumpkin color. Just all varies on day, all varies on time of year. Really makes a big difference. So right here I have one, and this is one of the trailers I use. Just one of those little twin tail grubs. That's by Gary Yamamoto. Those work really well. They have a lot of action. I also like the Chattahoochee jig. I have a couple over here, trailers, and those are hand poured. Really great looking trailers, really soft, and they're pretty tough as well. So it's not, as you can tell, I mean, I'm pulling on that pretty hard. It's not breaking or anything. So hand poured, really soft plastic. Those are great on those as well. Just depending on the profile, if you're wanting more of a crawl-like look with a little less action, or if you're wanting something with a lot of action, I really like the Rage Crawl. As you guys know, I put that on my wobblehead a lot. Has a lot of action with his legs just kicking around. That's really good as well. And that's it for the football heads. And here's a few. These are the light wire hooks. This is by Chattahoochee Jigs. Light wire hook jigs, and you can skip these really well under docks. The head's shaped a little bit different on these. And this was green pumpkin with a little bit of blue on it. Same with that one. It has a light wire hook, so it's a much thinner hook, but still very strong. I have one more box, and this is just pretty much full of just regular jigs, not technically big jigs or anything. Just regular archy heads. That's living rubber right there. There's a bunch of old ones I use on linear. As you can tell right there, and we're fishing some rock. I wasn't using a football head there on linear. Mostly I don't use a football head. Here's a really good example of a living rubber one. This one's actually got a wide gap hook as well. That one's really, that's the crazy living rubber. As you can tell, it's already sticking out of water. When that thing goes in water, I mean, look at it just makes the profile look so big. If you put a big old Rage Crawl on that, that would look really well. Have a really big profile. So yeah, guys, that's all my jigs. So let's go ahead and break it down. So football head jigs, I would fish on rock. Rock for the most part, and I would fish it out deep. Fish it out on those deep humps, ledges. That's just personal preference, and pretty much what it's used for is on rock and on deep humps and stuff. And then the Arky style heads, you can use for skipping under docks. You can also use like the ones with the light wire hooks for skipping under docks. The head shape different. I can tell you if you get a football jig, it's going to be much harder to skip under a dock than just a regular style jig. Swim jigs, you're going to be fishing up shallow. You're going to be fishing in grass, lily pads, stuff like that. Not even that, you can run it next to a dock. You can run it up shallow. You can run it by some rock up shallow. As long as it's up shallow, I'm not going to go in 40 foot of water and cast a swim jig out. Hair jigs, I like fishing over brush. Imitates like a bait fish for the most part. I don't work it on the bottom. Maybe I can make a video for you guys on how I work it. And if you guys are interested in those, message me. I can get some out to you. And if you're interested in any Chattahoochee jigs, you can message me and I can get some out to you. So for the rod and reel combo for my jig, it's mostly the same for the football head jig, Arky style. Swim jig is going to be a little bit different, but for just a standard old jig, it is a heavy power rod. And why do I use a heavy power? Most of the time you're fishing out deep when you're fishing a jig, and you want to penetrate that hook into the fish. Even if you're fishing shallow, guys. I was at Douglas, we were pre-fishing, and I had a medium heavy power rod. I was fishing a big football head jig. We weren't fishing too deep. We were fishing about 10, 15 foot. But I hooked into about an 8.5 pounder. Got it close to the boat, and it just jumped off, and that hurts, guys. And so ever since then, I've been throwing this is a 7.4 heavy Legend Extreme by St. Croix rods. This is the only rod I've been throwing all my jigs on ever since that happened, and it's on a Revo MGX. As you guys know, that's my favorite reel and rod combo. The line is 15-pound Berkeley Gold Label. That's what I mostly use on most of my jigs. If I'm like flipping and stuff, I may use a little heavier, like 17, 20 pound. But for the most part, 15 pounds is good enough for me for how I'm fishing, like on linear and stuff. So that's the setup. And for the football head jig, like I said, it's going to be the same setup on the heavy power rod. Swim jig, I like to be a little more accurate with my cast, and I don't want this super stiff rod, so I use like a medium heavy would be fine. You don't want to go too light on it. You don't want to go on like a medium, but a medium heavy would be good if you're wanting to just cast it around docks, cast it around up shallow, cast it around grass. Same like with the chatterbait, I would use a medium heavy. I want to use a heavy power rod. So that's the combo I use for my jigs. I hope you guys found this video really informative. If you have any more questions about jigs, hair jigs, swim jigs, football head jigs, regular style jigs, feel free to ask. I also have a couple swim jigs over here. Forgot to show you guys. These are some more Swarm and Hornet Lures ones, and that's with the Reaction Innovations little dipper on it. Watermelon. This one, it's got a little Berkeley crawl on it. It's really great as well. Really like fishing swim jigs. I love fishing that type of style, swim jigs, chatterbait, stuff like that. So yeah, guys, that's all the tips I have for today. Over all my jigs, all kinds of jigs, hair jigs, football jigs, Argy style head jigs, swim jigs, all my jigs, rod and reel combo. If you have any more questions, and if you guys are, if that's a little bit out of your price range, you can always go for regular Revo SX, which is around 150 bucks. You can get yourself a Mojo Bass rod by Syncroids. You can get it in a heavy power or medium heavy, whatever style you're wanting for whichever bait, for a jig, medium or medium heavy, or medium heavy or heavy, and that's around 100 bucks. So that's really affordable for most of you guys out there. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know below what you guys want to see next week for next week's Tackle Tuesdays, and I'll try to get that video out to you guys. Also, if you haven't checked out the vlog from Lake Eufaula, it's up. Today is Monday. I'm posting this. You guys are seeing this on Tuesday for Tackle Tuesday, but Sunday, posted the vlog, part 1 and part 2. You might get a good laugh out of that. You might want to go watch that. I'll throw the links at the end of this video. Also, we're going down to Lake Eufaula the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. We're going to be fishing, pre-fishing the 22nd and 23rd, and our tournament's Sunday the 24th, and we're going to be out of school then. And I'm also going to be uploading a lot of videos, so I'll be vlogging that whole tournament and everything. Hopefully you guys will enjoy that. And stay tuned for this Friday for the recap from Lake Eufaula and what we were doing to catch those fish. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, leave a comment below. Thank you guys for watching.